Welcome, everybody, to your Week 14 Fantasy Football in Review for the Mills Friends League 2024. I'm your Commissioner, Scott Mills. And now, the regular season is finally over. So, regular season's done, playoffs have started, and it came down to Monday night to find out what was going to happen. So, let's go ahead and start off with the standings, and then we'll go into what happened. And, well, you could kind of see already what happened, which I'm not too happy about what happened to get the final six. Because as I had said last week, I kind of needed to win, and I needed somebody else to lose, and somebody else did lose. We do have a 7-7 team in the playoffs. We also have a 7-7 team not in the playoffs, and that was me, because I lost by 1 point this week. Very frustrating. But last year, I believe I got into the playoffs. I know there was one year in the last couple of years where I got into the playoffs by, just like a point or two in terms of total points for in the season with the same record as somebody else. So I guess what comes around goes around is, I think, the saying, right? So I guess that's what I get this year because I got in lucky in the previous years. So maybe next year I could be the one up here in the 11-3 and getting a bye in the first round. That would be nice. Okay, but here's our final playoff teams. As you can see, we had to say congratulations to Spooky Season. Unquestionably, the number one scoring team all year and number one in record at 11-3. Actually, tied in record for number one. But almost 300 more points scored than number two team, Phoebe's Warriors. But all that doesn't matter now. Points for throughout 14 weeks, it doesn't matter. It only matters what you do each week going forward in order to advance. And if your team can be the best, don't even have to be the best. They just have to be better than the team you're going up against for the next 3 weeks. Or in the case of Spooky Season and Phoebe's Warriors, 2 weeks, then there you go. Then you get to win and be the champion. So definitely the advantage for Spooky Season and Phoebe's Warriors because they automatically get to go on to the second round of the playoffs. But in our first round matchup here, going into week number 15, we'll have Emmy's team going up against Return of the King. So congratulations to Return of the King. He lost this week in fantasy, but he is able to have, by quite a lot, more points scored on the season than me. And then you've got the 4 seed, Lamb Chub's Play Along, is going to be playing against Egg Ball Elite. So our two 8 and 6 teams will be playing each other in this matchup. And I believe that we do reseeding for going on to the second round. So whoever the lower number is, or the better team was, is going to end up playing the number 2 seed. And then of the winners from these two matchups, whoever is the worst team of those is going to go on to play Spooky Season. And that's how it is set up. Okay, so let's take a look here at our scores from week 14. The high score for the week was from Seeking Forgiveness. The game didn't matter a whole lot, but congratulations. You were the top scoring team for this week. Unfortunately, you couldn't win last week. What was last week? Was that a close game last week for Seeking Forgiveness? I think it was not, but yeah, it wasn't particularly close last week, but he had a good score last week. He was just going up against a 145, which was the high score last week. He was going up against the high score last week. He was the high score in week 14, but it didn't matter. Maybe if there were a few more weeks in the season, seeking forgiveness could have come back. They started the season like 1-3 or 1-4, something like not great like that. So to come back and be 6-8, not bad. Just not enough weeks in the season to get into the playoffs this year. Better luck next year. And then Wolves Warriors took the L. Better luck next year to Wolves Warriors as well. The second matchup was second highest score was Egg Ball Elite. There's no surprise, Team Mills Cards again was getting scored on like crazy. Had the fourth highest point total because Lamb Chop's Play On also had a big 133 score. But yeah, Egg Ball Elite goes on to win by 4 points against Team Mills Cards. Would have been in the playoffs even with the loss because of the Land of Misfit Players is what I renamed my team to. More on that in a little bit. But because I had lost, it didn't matter what they did. He was going to get in the playoffs, win or lose. So then we go on to same thing with Lamb Chop's Play On. Pretty easy win here, 133.5 to 115.9. Wouldn't have actually mattered if he lost because I did not win. So it did not come down to that. But Lamb Chop's Play On goes up to the 4 seed in the playoffs. So see what he can make happen. Going forward, I think that SG Mills, Lamb Chop's Play Along did win a championship in this league a few years back, so definitely has that previous championship experience. Same with Egg Ball Elite, previous championship experience. But I believe the other 4 teams in the playoffs, Phoebe's Warriors and Emmy, this was their first years in the league, so congratulations, they're first timers in the league getting into the playoffs there. And, well, actually, Return of the King, we have 3. Yep, Return of the King was in this league for 1 year, like 7 years ago or something, and ended up winning the championship and then left, and then has now returned and does get into the playoffs because my team lost by 1 point. And so that's how that happened. And then we had Team Ludina with a nice 125 to 116 win, and Team Emmy with a nice 129 to 117 win. Those matchups didn't end up mattering really too much. The big one that really messed things up, that allowed Return of the King to get into the playoffs, was this one. 1 point. So let's just go through and take a look. It is my team that happened, but it was also, I don't know, I guess looking back, it was kind of one of the most critical games because it really was the game that determined who got in the playoffs. So, Phoebe's Warriors by 1 point beats Land of Misfit Players. And Phoebe's Warriors had 3 players going on Monday night. Was down about 15 points. I had 1 player going in Monday night's game. And I'm just going to show you down here. It was very disappointing for me. 0 from Jalen Tolbert. He got 3 targets. If he just catches one of those, there's a good chance I'm winning. If it's just 1 catch for 5 yards, I think. Let's see. Well, it was a little bit more than the point, I guess. So it would have needed to be 1 catch for 7 yards would have tied. Like, who knows what would have happened in a tie. That would have been interesting. Yeah, I wish he had 1 catch for 7 yards. That would have been kind of fun to see. Like, who gets in the tie? I guess 7-6-1 is better than 7-7. I would have been in the playoffs. So, but yeah, that was disappointing. It's like, just catch the ball once, Jalen Tolbert. That's all I need you to do is catch the ball one time for 7 yards. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Thanks, Jerry Jones, for me putting in Jalen Tolbert and him doing nothing. And for me not putting in Dallas's defense, which would have given me 9 more points if I had done that instead, and I would have won. Okay, please allow me to go on a rant about my team. I know that I'm just talking about my team, but I missed the playoffs by 1 point. Please allow me to be angry for a second about that. Okay, so yeah, that's what happened. But on the other side, we can see too, like, if Phoebe's Warriors had played Tua, which he had been the last couple of weeks, I don't know if this was a matchup thing or if he wanted me to get in the playoffs or something, but he ended up benching Tua for Geno Smith, which was the wrong move to do. Um, Jonathan Brooks was picked up because I know Jonathan Brooks was dropped by somebody, so that's an interesting. I believe Jonathan Brooks is done. Like, he's not going to be playing, so I don't know. Maybe he thought there was a chance that Jonathan Brooks could be back, but well, no, he had 1 carry for -3 yards, so he was, I guess, active. It's just he got injured this week, so that's what happened there. Okay. Devin Singletary, not great. So not a lot of great on the bench here from him. That was really just the quarterback there. So that's kind of it. So there it is. There's your playoffs. Congratulations, spooky season, Phoebe's Warriors. I mean, 1-3-3-3. Lamb Chubs play along, Egg Ball Elite, and Return of the King. You guys are in the playoffs for the fantasy. But you know what? It's not all misery for me because in my other fantasy football league, I did sneak into the playoffs, although it was limping into the playoffs because I started 7-2 record there, and I lost 5 straight games to be 7-7. So I did get into the playoffs at 7-7 in that league, but I was kind of in the no McCaff attack. But in that league where I drafted Christian McCaffrey with the #1 overall pick and never really had him all year, and when they did, he didn't really do anything. So probably not gonna win that one, but at least I'm in the playoffs. I get to pay attention to some fantasy football going forward. Yeah, I'll still try to pay attention. I'll do the weekly updates, even though my team's not in it. I will still do it since I am the commissioner of this league. So, and I mean, other people are interested in their teams and hear what I have to say about their teams. So there you go. I guess I will catch you guys next week. I hope you enjoy, and good luck to all of those teams that are still in it. And we will find out what happens. So let's just take a look here. Why is it not showing the playoff match? I want to show the playoff bracket. Where's the playoff bracket? Let's see here. Oh, will be finalized pending any stat Oh, so there's still stat corrections. Oh, maybe there will be a stat correction that will give somehow him -1 point somehow for the Phoebe's Warriors teams. That's extremely unlikely. I've never really seen stat corrections do that before. I know it's possible, but yeah. So apparently there are still stat corrections that could possibly happen. I guess Wednesday 1 a.m. is when those happen, which is tonight. So we'll see. There's still a chance I might get in the playoffs. It's not gonna happen. But okay, now for real, I'm gonna sign off. Have yourselves a wonderful week. Seriously, if you're watching this and you are paying attention to what I'm doing, thank you, and I hope you are having yourself a really good day.